Here we go again. Another second half collapse for the Giants. Sorry, any chance for a repeat just went out the window over in Cincinnati. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Final Surf. I'm Tim, here with my co-host Joe.
What's up, everybody?
And we're going to start off today's episode with the New York Giants and the debacle over in Cincinnati. In this game, I have no idea where to begin. Between the horrific play in the secondary, the special teams that's non-existent, and the offense's inability to create points, do anything. But let's start off with the defensive side of the ball. With number one being Corey Webster. Get off my team! I mean, what was that? I understand it was play action play, faked out some of the people, but the ball's midair, and you're just watching it sail by. Maybe by some act of luck, it'll drop down and fall in your hands. But instead, it's like 30 yards ahead of you, and you don't even bother to chase Green. I mean, I just can't accept that. Not even, no hustle, no, it's like you don't even care. The defensive line has been non-existent. Jason Pierre, Paul, Tuck, Osi, where's the pressure? There's no pressure whatsoever, which thus is affecting the secondary because God forbid they cover anybody. Then we go on to their inability to hold on to the ball. Finally, in the third quarter, the Giants get something going, trying to get themselves back into the game. And here we go. Bradshaw fumbles the ball after a 10-plus yard gain. Victor Cruz, God forbid he catches a pass. And I know we can't say anything bad about Victor Cruz, but it seems like in every big game, the guy never holds on to the ball. I mean, how many drop passes does he have so far this year? 10? I mean, listen, people wonder why, when you talk about Eli being an elite quarterback, they laugh at it. I mean, look at the first interception he threw in the game. What was he thinking? What was he doing? I understand you don't want to take the sack and lose yardage, but just really you had to throw it just in midair and hey, whoever catches it, catches it. I mean, it's just terrible that this team is going nowhere quick. If you look at the remaining games in their schedule, they have Green Bay at home, loss. The Redskins on the road. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they win that game. Saints at home. The game's not even going to be close. Saints are putting up at least 45 in that game. Then you have the Falcons over in Atlanta, a place which they never lose in. And the Giants have no consistency right now going on any side of the ball, so there's another loss. The Ravens just put up 55 against the Raiders at home. Don't think that it's going to be much prettier for the Giants. And then they have the Eagles at home. And the only reason I'm going to say they win that game is because Vic is so much of a bum. He can't stay on the field. Every chance he gets, he's concussed. I'm sorry, Giants. Season's over. Done.
Look, the Giants had a really bad game, okay? I'm not going to deny that.
But the problem
They
is,
played terrible.
it's not just one game. They should have lost to Dallas if it wasn't for a finger.
But they didn't lose, okay? Listen, sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good, all right? Now, you don't think the Giants are going to make playoffs.
Nope.
I disagree. I think the Giants play up to their competition and they play down to their competition. Everyone going into this Cincinnati Bengals game thought that the Giants were going to win. Okay? And what happened? They came out and they looked awful. Now, the Giants got a bye week and they're going to go and they play the Packers. Personally, I can see the Giants winning that game for the simple fact that, well, it seems whenever the Giants need to beat the Packers, they go and they beat the Packers.
What about a few years ago over in Green Bay? They didn't beat them. They got shellacked against Green Bay. Last year, they got shellacked by Green Bay during the regular season now, I'm talking. not the playoffs.
But
Talking
they
about the
beat them
ring.
in the playoffs when they needed to
Fine.
beat them.
I don't see how they're gonna stop Aaron Rodgers though in this game.
But who's really gonna take over in that division?
Dallas.
I don't see
Easily.
Listen, look. You know that I respect Dallas, okay? But they're just so frustrating to watch.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I think against the Eagles they showed some life. Romo finally put up a pretty good game. He threw multiple touchdowns without throwing any interceptions. Besides, if you look at the remaining schedule for the Dallas Cowboys, they play the Browns at home, win. Play the Skins at home, win. Play the Eagles at home, just demolished them already, win. Then they got the Bengals on the road. That's a win. I'm sorry, this Bengal team is not good. Didn't think they were good when the Giants were going in there. The Giants just coughed them up, played terribly. Don't want to take anything away from the Bengals, but giving the Cowboys that game. Then the Cowboys played the Steelers. Steelers might not even have Big Ben for the rest of the season. Okay, maybe Romo has a bad game because it's still a very solid defense you got going into the game. Still a very solid running game. You're going to rely on a backup quarterback to make some plays. Okay, maybe Romo turns the ball over a few times. Okay, that one I'll give a push for now. Then you have the Saints going into Cowboy Stadium. I'll give a loss there just because Drew Brees is so good. And it's funny, too, because this Saints team started off, 0-4? And then we're talking about them possibly being a playoff team. Then they have the Redskins on the road. I mean, when the Redskins head coach is already packing up the season, how can you expect them week 17 to turn around and put up a fight against the Cowboys?
The problem is that Dallas, they always seem to cough it up. They always are just so close.
But that's the problem.
So close. And then they just blow it.
But against the Eagles, they finally had that game where they put it all together. They finally showed that maybe this is Dallas's launching point now. Maybe this is where they turn around and get it all together.
It could be their launching point, but it could also be the point where it's like, all right, well, this is as good as they're going to get because, well, next week, watch, they're going to wind up coughing it up.
But I'm sorry, based off...
Now, I'm not saying that I really believe that they're going to lose to the Browns, but I'm just saying that they always get to that point where, oh, Dallas is going to make the playoffs. They're going to be so good. Oh, he missed by that much. It seems like it happens every year.
Right now, the Giants have a game-and-a-half lead in the division. Cowboys play the Browns next week. I don't see how Dallas loses this game in their own building against the Browns. So now we're going to dwindle the lead in the division down to one game. Now, Giants have Green Bay, who's still fighting for a playoff spot, against probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, versus the Redskins, who've already packed it in.
Well, Shanahan packed it in. I don't necessarily think the team packed it in.
Well, once the coach turned around and doesn't believe in the team anymore, how are the team's all of a sudden going to turn around and go against the coach?
Do you really see RG3 just giving up? I don't.
Listen, they're going to, of course, they'll try to make plays, but the team doesn't have the confidence anymore. After Shanahan turned around and packed it in, if he's turning around, if the leader of your team is turning around and saying, I don't have confidence in you guys anymore to turn around and make a push, I don't think the rest of the team is going to turn around and fight now.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to go out and they're going to completely blow this game. I could see the Redskins winning here.
But I don't think they're going to.
Listen.
Is it a possibility? Fine. But my point is this, though. Then you have Cowboys are playing the Redskins while the Giants play Green Bay that week. Chances are, in my mind, I think that Giants are losing that game to Green Bay. Now the division's even. From December on, Dallas plays one winning team at this point in the schedule, and that one winning team's quarterback just got knocked out for who knows how long. Like I said, maybe the Saints turn around and beat Dallas. I can see that happening. I can see the Steelers still pulling out the game, but it's a quarterback-driven league. You could have figured Dallas still finds a way to win that game.
But can't you see Romo throwing a few picks in that game and the Steelers defense wind up scoring some touchdowns?
He threw 3 interceptions against the Giants and still almost won that game. I mean, granted, the Steelers defense is much better than the Giants, but I mean, my point is that if you look at the schedule remaining, Giants have a much harder path to the playoffs than the Cowboys do.
Yes, but
And they have such a slim lead in the division.
But if you look at history, history shows that Tony Romo will forever come up that short.
If you want to look at history, history shows at this point of the season is when the Giants usually tank.
Yeah.
Besides a couple of Super Bowl runs.
Yeah. There are a couple Super Bowl runs.
I mean, I know you can't just throw it out the door. And listen, this is coming from a Giants fan. Diehard Giants fan. I love this team. I love Eli, but you have to remember, guys, Eli's last touchdown pass was against the Redskins.
I just think you can't quit on him.
But the problem is, you know what it is? I can understand maybe they're just having some offensive problems, or maybe they're scoring points, but the defense is also giving up some points. But there's nothing. The entire team has just like fallen apart. Special teams, defensively, offensively. There's no reason to believe that they're going to turn around and go out and all of a sudden hold the Saints to 20 points, or hold Green Bay to 20 points. Or outscore New Orleans or the Green Bay, or outscore the Falcons. The Falcons have how many good receivers on that team?
Yeah, but the Falcons have also come extremely close to losing a lot of games that they really probably should have blown teams out in. I mean, even in that game where they played the Cowboys.
Yeah, but the Cowboys' defense is pretty solid. Here's the thing. You say the Cowboys all season long, their defense has still been relatively solid. The Giants, especially in the secondary, Giants' secondary is awful. Besides a few people in that secondary.
I still think it comes down to Eli Manning against Tony Romo. And
again, the remainder of the schedule.
I don't think you can count out the Giants. I think it's too soon to count them out, and I'm not a Giants fan by any means. But I think you can't count them out just yet.
I think when it comes down to it, when you're looking for hope, you're looking for some signs of consistency on this team, and there's absolutely none. Especially Eli's been getting sacked more and more the last few games, which, by the way, David Deal, I'm sorry, you need to sit back down. We need to get Locklear back in. I don't care if you're married to the coach's daughter. You need to take a seat. You and Webster can go hang out in the bar and watch the Giants game for all I care. But moving on from one inconsistent team into the next, how about them Jets?
Do we have to talk about them?
Unfortunately, that's what we're here to do. And, I mean, listen, start of the season, I didn't think this team was going to be very good. I thought they were going to be around a 6-10 team. What have they proven? To be around a 6-10 team. Offensively, they just look lost on every level. I mean, to be fair, in this game, did you really think they would go into Seattle? Seattle's defense has played extremely well all season long. Even though they should have lost the game against the Green Bay Packers, they sacked Aaron Rodgers 8 times in the first half. They still played relatively well. It's a tough environment to play in with all that noise. But, I mean, the Jets have nothing. I mean, Tate looked like a better quarterback than Sanchez.
Well, the Jets defense played really well for 3 quarters. But what more do you want them to do when the offense can't move the ball and your special teams is coughing up the ball and putting the defense in just a bad position? You're not going to win games that way. The Jets deserve to get destroyed. And frankly, I think this all falls onto Mike Tannenbaum. He did not prepare this team. Their big signing of the offseason, like you have said, Tim Tebow, whoop-de-freaking-do.
Yeah, quarterback with what, a completion percentage under 50%?
Yeah, it's a joke.
Well, the problem is your big offseason move is a backup quarterback. I thought the Sanchez was here to save the day.
Well, here's the thing. The problem with Sanchez is, A, the guy has very little protection on that offensive line. B, there's no running game whatsoever. And C, when he does manage to throw the ball, the receivers just drop it.
It's a fair point, but I'm going to bring you the one key point of the game where they're in the red zone and Sanchez goes to throw the ball and gets picked off. You watch Sanchez pumps once, pumps twice, and then decides to throw. How many times you got to pump the ball? Get the ball out. You got to see the play before it happens.
I agree.
I mean, you
I
can't.
agree.
What do you think? You think the Seattle was just going to let the guy catch it? I mean, it should have been a pick six if he
But
doesn't get
also,
knocked out of bounds.
But also, when you think about it, if Dustin Keller doesn't go off sides, that's not pushed back 5 yards. They're 3rd and 1 or 3rd and goal, I should say. You know what I mean?
I think what the problem also with the Jets is that this 2-quarterback system needs to be eliminated right away. Pick one or pick the other.
The problem with the Jets is they did not put Sanchez in a position to win.
Oh, at the start of the season? Oh, I absolutely agree. I'm going based off this game. I'm trying to say that Sanchez finally gets in a rhythm, finally starts driving them down the field a little bit, and then they pull him out to bring in Tebow. Why? Why? Can I ask you a question? In Denver, they pulling Payton out to put anyone at the backup in?
Nope.
What about over in New England?
I think that's Mr. Brady's job.
I'll even bring up one more for a rookie. How about over in Indianapolis? They pulling out Luck anytime soon to give someone else a chance to play?
Well, I mean,
I think even when the Jets smacked around the Colts, they were still putting in Mr. Luck to try to make something happen. I mean,
and to be fair, he almost did. He just aired the ball out just a little too much. But, you know, rookie mistakes, man.
Yeah, he's a work in progress. I think going back to your original point, though, with Tannenbaum, he needs to be fired. I mean, there needs to be some accountability for the decisions on this team. I mean, you go from a formula in the first 2 years. It doesn't win a championship, but it brings you to 2 AFC championship games where you focus heavily on the running game and play action pass and a solid defense. And then you go and you get rid of guys who got you there. Like, let me give you an example. Mr. Jericho Cotchery. What did he do against the Giants last week? Who caught a big 3rd down, preventing the Giants from getting the ball back?
Listen, they should never have gotten rid of Cotchery. And I can argue they should never have gotten rid of Thomas Jones. Even though he was aging, he was still better than what LaDainian Tomlinson was to them.
Oh, yeah, but even Braylon Edwards. I understand.
Oh, that made no sense to get rid of
I understand. I understand that he was a drop ball waiting to happen, but the guy was a deep threat at least.
Listen, he was in his 2nd year. He was much more consistent. Did not drop as many passes as he did in that first year with them, and I honestly believe that him and Sanchez had better chemistry than Sanchez has with Santonio Holmes.
See, the one thing I'll give the Jets some of a break for is that, okay, your number 1 receiver went down. The best player on the team went down also, which does affect that defense and the way they played it. Because, I mean, you could just put Revis on the number 1 receiver, and then double cover their second best, and you're almost taking away everything else. I mean,
yeah, but
I'm not going to make excuses at the same time that they've not played well.
Right, but you can't deny that Cromartie has definitely stepped up for that team and has become a number 1 corner for them. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as Revis. Definitely not.
Not by any means.
But he has become a number 1 corner. The thing is that even with Santonio Holmes, even if they had him now, are they winning this game?
No, probably not.
Are they still 3-6?
If you give me Santonio Holmes and Revis back...
No, forget Revis. Just Santonio Holmes. Because Revis, I think, is a complete game changer. And, yeah,
I think if Revis is back, if Revis is back, they'd probably win this game.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But Santonio Holmes, do they win this game with Santonio Holmes? Probably not.
Listen, I still think with Santonio Holmes, I think it puts even more pressure on Sanchez. Because he's such a loudmouth, and all he wants is the ball that you see Sanchez forcing passes to him. Because if he doesn't get his touches, he goes and he throws his little hissy fit.
Let him throw his hissy fit. That's your job as a quarterback to lead the team with wins, not to make people happy.
I think if Holmes was here, they'd still be 3-6 and not much better.
The problem is
They should never have signed him to that, what was it, a 5-year deal? That was such a joke. Such a mistake.
I think you watch this Jets team and you realize that they're in a worse situation than even a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs can still get a number one pick going the way they're at. The Jets are locked up in some bad contracts.
The one good thing for the Jets, half their team free agents.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This offseason, they're going to need to make some big changes. And it might need to start from the front office.
Tannenbaum needs to be the first to get fired.
And also get rid of Tebow. Listen, I'm a fan of Tebow. I like the guy. But
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's no reason to have him here. There's no reason to create this controversy. And I'm sorry if you ask me, Tebow time has died.
Well,
a few
I mean,
weeks
you
ago.
put him in the game, and what do? Either you do a little run up the middle, which you can do just as easily with Sean Green because the guy can't do anything,
Well-
or you do what? 3 screen pass? Is that what he did? 3 screen passes to Jeremy Curley, and that's it.
What bothers me too is that if you're gonna run plays with Tebow as the quarterback, why is Sanchez one of your wide receivers?
I don't know.
Really, Sanchez gonna catch a 70-yard pass downfield?
Listen,
for a
Sanchez
touchdown?
isn't even gonna block for anybody.
mean, yeah,
he's
like,
just standing out there.
You gonna let Pretty Boy go out there? I don't know. I think it just goes to show that the Jets are lost. Rex Ryan has no idea what he's doing offensively. All Rex Ryan is a defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach.
I still think Rex Ryan is good for the organization, and Rex Ryan will be here for a little while longer. I think Tony Sperano's got to go. I don't understand what he's doing. His
You're gonna
play
change
call.
offensive coordinators again on Sanchez.
Listen, I understand. I know. I was complaining about this not too long ago that he has no consistency. But you put a guy in that couldn't run the offense with the Miami Dolphins. So what makes you think he was going to come in and do any better with the Jets?
Because the Jets believe that they can just sign any big name and make things happen.
Speaking of the Jets, let's start with our weekly picks.
Week 11?
Week 11, New York Jets at the St. Louis Rams. Well, you know, I'm going to go with Rams in this one. They put up 24 points on the 49ers and wound up in a tie. When was the last time you heard that? I don't really know what the Jets are going to do. It'd be nice if they turn around and won, but maybe it would just be better for them to lose out for the rest of the year. I don't know. Give me the Rams 24, the Jets 10.
I mean, how can you go with the Jets in this game?
You really can't.
I mean-
What gives you? Where's the confidence in them?
When was the last time they scored an offensive touchdown? I mean,
Patriots?
they've been shut out touchdown-wise, offensively, in at least 3 games this season.
Yeah.
You have a Rams team that's still not just there yet when it comes to being a playoff team, but you have Sam Bradford, who's playing better than Sanchez. You have the Rams with a much better running back in Steve Jackson.
And the Jets can't stop the run.
I mean, there's no reason to believe in this Jets team. I'm going to go with Rams in this one also. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to take the Rams 20. I think the Jets run into an accidental touchdown. 17-13 Rams. But moving on from that, a little more interesting game. We go from a future Hall of Famer to the next big quarterback in the league with New England versus Indianapolis. Now, I think New England's winning this game. Just for the simple fact that Luck's going to make a few rookie mistakes here. Maybe throw an interception, try to force a play. But I'll tell you one thing, man. This kid Luck, he's the real deal. I mean, you watch the way he plays these games and what he does. I mean, coming back on Green Bay and the fact that this team plays for Luck. He's a rookie and already leading this team. You have Sanchez, who's been a part of the team for 4 years and can't get anyone to get his back, or he can't lead that team.
Yeah, but again, he's had a different team like every year.
Fine. What I'm trying. My point is that look at what you have. Santonio Holmes last game of the season last year turned on Sanchez, Whereas Reggie Wayne, who's been in the league for how long, and he's out there trying for luck. You understand what I'm trying to
But
say?
you can argue that Reggie Wayne is a lot more professional than
Yeah,
Santonio Holmes.
Point being is that Luck already seems like he has control. He knows how to control his team. He knows how to. He has the leadership quality on his team. He can obviously make any throw, but the only reason I think this is going to be a close one is because New England's defense is very porous. That secondary is terrible. I think they'd even hire you and I to go play this game to try to get a stop for them. But Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, and he's going to get his points. He's going to make things happen. I'm going to take New England in this one, 24, the Colts 21.
Well, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I think Andrew Luck is going to throw for 250, maybe 300 yards. I think Robert Mathis is going to eat Tom Brady alive. I think the Colts defense is much better than the Patriots defense. I think Colts are winning this game 28-26. Moving on, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, it's interesting because we don't know if Big Ben will be playing in this game since he had that shoulder injury. Baltimore, I will say, has surprised me. I thought that they'd fall off a little bit after losing Ray Lewis, but they've seemed to come together and solidify that defense. And I'm gonna give Baltimore the edge here. Even if Big Ben was healthy, I don't really know if Pittsburgh can overcome them. I think the Ravens are just the more complete team at the moment. I feel the Steelers have too many injuries. So give me the Ravens 21, Steelers 17.
See, if Big Ben were in this game, I'd be picking Pittsburgh to win it. One, they're at home. Two, they're much superior defense than the Ravens. Better running game even. Better quarterback, everything. But here's the problem. You got your big quarterback out. Thus, he's going to make a few mistakes. You're going to see a lot more incompletions. You do have a Ravens team who just put up 55 points in this game, which, by the way, I wish the Ravens would lose this game because I was not happy about the way they did that field goal run for a touchdown against the Oakland Raiders. No reason to run up the score against them, and you try to run up I think they completely disrespected the Oakland Raiders. Was not really happy about it, but it is a professional game, so you turn around to Oakland and say, make the stop. But
Plain and simple.
But I don't know. I as a Giants fan was turned around and upset about them choosing to do so. But with that being said, I think this game's not even going to be close. Just because I think offensively, the Steelers are going to be predictable. Try to run the ball, try to do a screen. You know, they're not going to be able to throw anything downfield with this quarterback. Well, my point being is that if Big Ben's in this game, I think that it changes everything completely. I think the Steelers win this game. But at this point in the week, it seems like he's actually going to miss a few games. So I'm going Ravens in this one, 23, Steelers 10. I think Steelers' season might even be coming to an end just because of the injury to the quarterback. I'd be surprised if they make any push to the playoffs. We talk about falling quarterbacks. Let's go to a game that has two concussed quarterbacks with the San Fran and the Chicago Bears. Two of the top 5 defenses in the league, so there's not going to be much scoring involved in this game. I like the Bears situation more than I like San Fran's, simply because Campbell's at least been a starter for an extended period of time in the NFL. He's not a guy, while he was starting, he didn't really turn over the ball very often, so he'll be able to manage the game at least. You gotta like Chicago's defense because they get a lot of turnovers, they score, San Fran looked really weak last week against the Rams. I mean, the Rams were able to move the ball and put up points against that defense. I mean,
Fairly easily.
yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, I guess you could kind of blame it because of the fact that San Fran didn't have their quarterback, and so they weren't able to extend drives. But you don't make excuses in the NFL. This professional league. I mean, the backup has to be ready to play. So I'm gonna take the Bears in this one. I think the Bears in this one 14, San Fran 7.
I'm also going to go Chicago. I just think that the Bears came off a tough loss. I don't see them losing 2 in a row. I was really surprised how the Rams put up 24 points against the 49ers. I just could not believe that. And they played to a tie. What? Give me the Bears 13, 49ers 10. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Final Serve. Check us out on Facebook, and please subscribe.
You've just been served.